morning. It's Sunday, November 13th. This video has been very overdue. It's the video where I speak about, I guess, how it all got started for me, where I came from, who I am, I guess. I am 21 years old, so I'll start off with that. So I'm still trying to figure out who I am. I can't really give you a straight answer on that. I feel like every single day I learn something new about myself. Every single time I travel and I get to spend more time alone and by myself, I learn more about me. So I can't give you a straight answer on that quite yet, because you're just always growing and learning and changing and evolving, right? So can't give you an answer. I'll get back to you in like 60 years. Maybe by then I'll know. I'll start off with welcoming all new subscribers to my channel. I really appreciate you guys sticking around and tuning back into my videos and giving the videos a like and leaving a comment, whether it's just to say hi or just to tell me something about yourself, anything. I really appreciate everything that you guys do to support my videos, so thank you for that. Now on to a little bit more about myself. So I was born in Valledupar, Colombia, and I lived there for 8 or 9 years of my life. I did live in Costa Rica as well when I was, I honestly don't know like my exact timeline, but I think if I was like 5 years old when I moved to Costa Rica, lived there for about a year, moved back to Colombia. I lived with my dad for a little bit. My dad still lives back in Colombia. My mom and my dad got divorced when I was like 2 years old, I think. So growing up, I was always a mommy's girl. I still am. Very close with my mom. Growing up, she was a single parent, so I watched my mom do everything and anything she could to support me and my brother. I think seeing her go through so much and getting emotional. So watching my mom go through so much growing up, I think is what kind of made me the way that I am today and made me the ambitious, like independent person that I am, because I watched her succeed by herself and do so much for me and my brother that showed me that I could do just as much for myself on my own. I know that obviously to get to where I am today, I've had a lot of support from my family and from her more than anything, but I can definitely say that a lot of it I did just by myself. Like I just got up one day and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna change my life, and fitness was the way that I did that. And I was 10 years old. I moved to a very small town here in Canada. It's called Tom's Lake, and I spent 4 years in Tom's Lake. Yeah, and then once high school came around, I moved to Grand Prairie, Alberta, which isn't much better than Tom's Lake, but a little bit better. Like it definitely is a lot bigger. That's where I went to high school. I did grade 10, 11, 12 there. Growing up, I was never big into sports. I was part of like a basketball and volleyball team in elementary school, but I think that's because I had to be. It wasn't really because it was like my interest. When I was in Colombia, I used to swim, competitive swimming, and I was actually pretty good at it, but it was never something that I really wanted to like pursue for the rest of my life. I wasn't really like passionate about it. I remember saying that I didn't want to be in it because I didn't want my back and my shoulders to get wide, and look at where I am now. So it was never something that just like I was super passionate about. I played sports here and there because I had to, basically. And then middle school came around. I used to hate gym class. I probably skipped it quite a bit. Mom, if you're watching this, I'm sorry. Even though I was never big into sports, I always made a conscious effort to watch what I was eating, to do like little ab routines. And this goes all the way back to when I was probably like 11 years old. I would do my mom's little DVDs and try to stay active, you know. Like I wasn't big into sports, but I always wanted to make sure that I was being active, eating somewhat healthy, and it's because my mom always implied this into my lifestyle, and my mom has always been the kind of person who cares about like health and fitness and all that. I think that's where it all came from for me. When I was younger, my weight would fluctuate a lot. I was never that kid who was just like super skinny. I would have to watch what I eat, stay in a good shape. But I remember growing up, like all I truthfully care about was just like having abs. Like I didn't care about being fit or anything. I just wanted to look a certain way, and that's what I saw fitness as. And then getting into high school, I remember I started to gain quite a bit of weight. It all just came from like bad eating habits and not taking care of myself, obviously. So I got into the gym with my best friend, actually my roommate right now, because we've been best friends since high school. And I remember I went to the gym for the first grade, and I was doing this like soup diet, and I lost like 10 pounds, and then I I gained it all back, obviously, because when you do any kind of diet like that, most of it is just water weight. So I lost all this weight. I was super motivated, and like most people, my motivation wore off, and then that's where I fell off. So I was in that cycle quite often, actually. It took me a while to actually get serious about fitness. Well, it came down to, I think, summer 2013. It got to the point where I like barely could look at myself in the mirror. And honestly, looking back on where I was back then, I wasn't even in a bad shape physically. Like, I was chubby, but it wasn't anything where it's just like terrible. We're our own worst critics, and I feel like as a young teenager, we have a lot of pressure to look a certain way, and we're surrounded by this image of the perfect physique constantly on like the media in general. I was 16 years old. I felt that pressure, and my mom got me a gym membership at this women's only gym, and that's where it all started for me. Honestly, something just clicked, and I said, it's time to change my life. I started going to the gym. I literally did not miss a day. I would go 5 times a week. I would do 30 minutes of cardio, 5 minutes of weights, and I would not miss a day. I started reading up a lot more on nutrition and fitness in general, and I got very interested in it and just became like really passionate about the whole thing in general. And I loved learning about nutrition, and I loved learning about the human body and just everything that we can accomplish and everything we can do. At first, obviously, I didn't get the best information because I took it to an extreme. I went very low carb, very low fat. I was just basically eating like protein and veggies, and then some carbohydrates with meals, but it wasn't enough. And the reason I say that is because I lost the weight that I lost very rapidly. I didn't have a coach back then or anything. Like, I was doing this on my own. I was so passionate about it. Like, I would wake up at 5 in the morning. I would go to the gym, then I would go to school, and then I would go to my full-time job, and that was just what I was doing constantly. I wasn't even incorporating cheat meals or anything. Like, I was just so strict with myself. It's another reason why I was able to lose the weight very fast. I lost like 30 pounds in 3 months, which is crazy. It's way too much weight. Like, I went from 130 pounds to 109 pounds of like skinniness. So I definitely achieved my goal of being skinny when I first got into fitness. That was like my main reason. I was like, I just want to be skinny. I want to feel comfortable in my own skin. By the end of, I guess, cut you can call it. I didn't see it as a cut though. I just saw it as a lifestyle change, which it was 100%, but I definitely took it to an extreme, especially with clean eating. I became very obsessed with what I was eating, and everything had to be like organic, and I wouldn't even eat sugar or salt. I went crazy. I'm gonna straight up say I went freaking crazy. Obviously that helped with the weight loss, but at the same time I feel like it wasn't necessary to go to that extreme, especially being so young. Like, I was still 16 years old, and I definitely isolated myself from like friends. I started cutting back on like going out, and I felt very overwhelmed by like the thought of food, and I didn't want to like eat out at restaurants because I couldn't control exactly what was going on my plate and everything like that. So definitely wasn't in the best place mentally, and even though I didn't become eating disorder, thank God, and I never experienced like binging or anything like that, because I truthfully was really passionate about the fact that I was doing something that was really good for my body. Well, I thought it was really good for my body. After I lost all that weight, I became more familiar with bikini competitions on social media. I started thinking about competing. So I had lost all this weight. I had been training for about 5 months, I think. I was just about to finish high school, so I said, once I'm done high school, I want to compete. I saw these girls on social media just going on stage and looking so amazing, and growing up I've always loved the thought of like modeling, and I saw them incorporating that with fitness, so I thought, you know what, why not do it? Like, I'm already so committed to this lifestyle, why can't I do that? So I found my first coach, and he was from Grand Prairie, Alberta, which is where I was living before I moved here to Calgary, Alberta. So he took me through my first competition prep when I was 17 years old. That prep, we followed a very bro style diet. Honestly, it was, I think, one of my best preps because I had no expectations really. I just went into it with like, I'm gonna get up on that stage and I'm gonna achieve this goal. So I remember we did like 8 weeks of bulking and then 8 weeks of cutting, because when I first inquired with him, I was very thin. Competed for my first time. I got like top 10. I was 17 years old. After this, that's where I got into like flexible dieting, and I started learning more about it, and I decided that I wanted to try it for myself. I think at that point I could tell that my obsession with clean eating just wasn't necessary. I decided to just do things on my own for a bit, so that's when I went into reverse dieting. I started experimenting with flexible dieting, completely fell in love with it. It's a method that I followed for my first reverse diet slash bulk of my competition career, and I will put a picture right here of what the end of my bulk looked like. At the end of that bulk, I ended up eating like 400 grams of carbs, 80 grams of fat, and like 140 grams of protein or something crazy like that. Like I gained like 25 pounds, I think, my first bulk, but it was so necessary, honestly. If it wasn't for that bulk or the other bulking phases that I've done, I definitely don't think I'd be able to have the physique that I have today. So you ladies out there who are scared of putting on weight, don't be, because it's necessary. In my opinion, it's definitely very beneficial to your physique, so just do it. So after that bulk, I decided to compete again, and here in Canada we have to do a regional show. If you place top 5 in that, then you will be qualified for a provincial show. If you place top 5 in the provincial show, you will qualify for a national show. And the national shows are the shows where you get the opportunity to win your pro card and become an IFBB Pro. At that time, my goal was just to keep going forward with my competition career. So in 2014, I competed again. I did another regional show because after my first one I didn't qualify for anything, and at that show I actually placed second, which qualified me for provincials. And I decided to take another off season because I didn't feel quite ready to step on a provincial stage. And once again I reverse dieted. I put on some weight, I think about another 20 pounds again, and then after that I coached myself again. So I coached myself for my second regional show, coached myself for my first provincial show and first national show. I followed flexible dieting. My first provincial show, I ended up with a third place finish. And then after that, I had the option to do nationals, obviously, and I didn't feel ready. I didn't want to do nationals, but my mom was like, you know what, you're ready, just go for the experience, just do it. She literally bought me my plane tickets, and she's like, you're going to nationals. 7 weeks later, I made my way over to Toronto, competed at my first national show, and that's where I won first place in my class. There was 5 classes, and I took the overall, and that's where I won my IFBB Pro card. So that was all the way up until last year, and since then you guys have followed me through the rest of my journey, basically. I did my pro debut in Miami this year. In the IFBB, I competed in Prague, I competed in Finland, and that's what wrapped up my first season as a pro. I still have a long way to go in this industry. I still have a long way to go in my competition career. Sometimes I forget how young I am and how much I still have ahead of me, and I get really ahead of myself sometimes. So it's kind of good to just sit down and put everything into perspective and realize that it's not even close to the end. So I'm super excited for everything else to come. I'm super excited to keep sharing everything with you guys, and I'm so thankful that I have people that actually care enough to tune back into my channel. I'm really happy that I have a platform to share this, because I feel like it shows that you can honestly accomplish a lot if you just really set your mind to it. It's taken me a long time to get to where I am today. It's been, I think, 4.5 years since I've got into the whole like fitness industry, social media, everything. It's my passion and I love it, and if it takes 10 million years or if it takes 2 years, I'm going to continue to do it because it's what I love. And if I'm able to inspire and motivate others to do the same with their life, then I will continue to share every single bit of it with as many people as I can. So I know I missed a lot of points in this video, probably a lot more than I think, and I will realize this when I'm editing it, but that is why I want to do a Q&A for you guys, because I haven't done one at all. Leave all your questions down below. I will do my best to answer them and get back to them in a timely manner. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure you give the video a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to my channel and you enjoyed this little chat and you have checked out my other videos and you enjoy my content, then please hit that subscribe button. And make sure to leave all your questions down below, because I am going to make sure to sit down and answer all of them. So thank you so much for tuning in, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Catch you guys in the next one.